Welcome to Trading Lounge and the Bitcoin report, and I'm just going to use this chart here because I think this is kind of interesting, and I think I may have pointed it out before. This little pattern that's in this area through here, this is very similar to a pattern that comes back over yonder here in this little area just here for this. So this is part of an uptrend to the upside here as well. So we could just look at this as wave 3, 4, and 5. Oops, that one needs to go there, and we need to drop that down a tad. So let me just go into minute here just to do that. But yeah, look, basically anyway, just to looking at this A, B wave here, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. It was a little bit rickety down here, and this is the kind of thing that we're actually going through over here, except we're calling this one here a wave 2 at this point. But it's kind of got this all the same things here. It's the same, pretty much the same. Anyway, it's in its final stages, whatever's happening. So this is it here. There's two things that go on here. If this is going to be a wave 1 to the upside here, we can look at the 50-60% retracement level here for that, and that brings us down to this level in here, and the 50%, we'll just put the 50% in here as well, just put it to the side there. So there's still space for it to come down. That's one thing, but in a way too, this particular pattern here is doing all the right things, really. So all we need to do now is to get support on 30,000, and we're free to go at that point. Now, any move up will be retested as such. That's what happens. It takes effort to get through something, and then it'll come back and check it. So there'll be, in the check back here, there'll be, I'm just dramatizing the size of it. It should be in 3 waves if it checks back, so you can go on the second one as a safe bet. But any move to the upside would sort of secure that. Let's just go in and have a closer look at this. So this is quite messy here, and it can. So first of all, we know that the market can come down further, but we can also see too is that it's sticking to the 30,000 like glue, isn't it? And to me, it's done all its rebalancing with this particular, this particular move up through here. So I think it's ready to go. There's just different ways to count this here. Now, whichever way you want to count all this, there's problems with it, in that there's overlapping wave structure. So this wave 4 here could overlap with wave 1 over here without any problems. If the market is going to come down here further, we could look at it in different ways. We could put a wave B up here. We could, I'm just shooting the breeze here for a moment, just to sort of have ideas, because it can come down further. So it could be like this as an ABC to the upside here and then come down further. We could also view it a little bit differently as well in terms of this area here. We could also put wave 4 over here and have wave 5 here for this. It also creates overlapping wave structures. Whenever you're working around a large number, it attracts larger orders, and the market always gets pulled back to that, because people think, people with whole numbers, like 1 is the strongest number. So people, 1 could be 1, or it could be 10, or it could be 100 and 1,000 and 10,000 and so on. But if you're just thinking of 10, most people are thinking of 10, aren't they? They're not thinking of 9 or 11, So that's kind of how, markets are emotional. It's kind of how it works. So all I'm saying here today is that it is possible that we can call a low in, but because we've only got 3 waves up, then we can't call that low in, However, if this market took out this second high here, then if we treat this as 5 waves up here, if it takes out this high here, well, then we would have more than 3 waves to the upside, wouldn't we? So then it's more likely to be bullish at that point, and we could view it. Well, the only way to view it is this way here, of course. So with wave 1 here and wave 2 over here for this. Now, is that true? I don't know. If it takes that top out there, then it makes it a little bit more truthful. So at this stage, I don't know, but it looks like it's got half a silly chance of pushing up. But if it was going to fail, this is where it's going to fail from. It's going to fail on that retest of that supply at that price point and come further down. And if it does come further down here, I don't think there's a lot to go. I think there'll just be 5 waves, just nipping out the low here and taking out stops and then making a move at that point. I don't think it's, I think we're very close to this now. Okay, that's all I really had to say, really. And the idea is really on the 30,000 here, you'd want to be, as a trader, you want to be looking at, if you wanted to build in through this trend as a trader rather than a hodler, you want support on 31, 32, and 33. Now, this is kind of important, this the 33 number here, because once you get tested support on top of this level here, and you would need a classic trading levels pattern to do that as well. So it would be something like this, the first high above the level, some type of ABC pattern here, can spike down to 3.1 here, 3.1 here, doesn't have to, but that would be at the lowest it goes, and then it moves up at that point. So getting support on top of the 33, what it actually does is it stops the market being pulled by this number, and then it starts to get pulled by the 35, the next number up here in the Fibonacci sequence, 1, 2, 3, and 5. Now 34 is important, especially in the bigger picture. 4 is not important unless it's like $4 or 4,000 or 40 or something of that sort of nature. But it is a Fibonacci number as a price ratio here, 21, 34, 55, 89, that sort of stuff. So, but anyway, but what happens is that when this level here becomes support, it gets pulled to the 5 rather than to the 30. That separates it at that point. So getting support on 33, and I look at 33 as the 4th strongest number, 1, 5, 8, and then 3. Pretty weird, but yeah. So this way, from this point, it'll be free to go up here. If it can't get support here, it still belongs to this number at that point. Okay, so just shooting the breeze on that. So, because if I was trading, I hodl Bitcoin, but if I was a trader, I would be taking that trade there. I'd look for a classic trading levels pattern on this one, and on this one, and then on this one. So I'd get like 4 trades in here at the beginning of this trend. Then I would also add on to the 50 here. There will be, there will be a pattern like this sitting on each of those levels of different degrees. They could be a little bit different. They could be like this, or they could be like this, but there's only really 3 basic patterns for support and resistance, and they're the ones that you build on. But as the price moves up here and you've built in through here, you're a trader at this point, because otherwise, if you're building in up here, then you're sort of a newbie at that point. You're late in the game at that stage. So the other thing too, to get the and I don't normally sort of use it too much, but if you were projecting wave 1 and 2 here and projecting wave 3 to the upside, you would take the length of wave 1 here. Well, that's not the right tool there, obviously, so this is just textbook stuff, and I don't really sort of use it. I always just count the structures. So I would look at the distance here of being 1 for level 1, wave 1, and then put this onto the low of wave 2 here, and then look for the 61.8% up here for that. But we would just naturally gravitate to the 40 here, which is a medium level, and we would look for a classic, we'd expect a correction there, and we would look for a classic trading levels pattern there. So we have major levels and medium levels, and then minor levels and sub levels and micro levels. So just basically breaking down the price, or I just see it as breaking down the problem into smaller problems and taking it from that point. But yeah, anyway, enough waffling. That's where we're at. So if this top gets broken here, then you're good to go, and you'll be good to go on, like, the miners and probably everything else as well at that point. So yeah, one thing leads to another. Alrighty, cheers.